It does not have to be a new year, a new you. It just has to be a healthier you in the new year, you guys. Make sure you check down below in the description box where you can find the links to TLC products, including the ISOT, the Nutraverse, the Life Drops, the Resolution Drops. There's just so many things there to help you in burning fat and staying healthy. There's even the new immune tea, which I'm going to order. So I can't wait to try that. And I hope they get the sea moss back. But I do love the sea moss from Mint and Ocean. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be a commercial. Yes, okay? Get those TLC products for me. And do not forget that my biggest life change has been through Kiara LaShae, Team LaShae, ifyoucanmove.com. You guys get cute little outfits from Peja and Amari. You also check out Just Move supplements because she is helping us with the energy. Okay, this is the energy supplement. Love it. Okay, just got my protein. Gonna get me some after I work out. So yeah, y'all, down below in the description box, support. So you guys are always asking me where I get my glasses from. So I thought I would finally give y'all a real little ad, okay? Firmoo, I can't see, bitch. Okay, I'm just playing. I'm just joking. These are my new Firmoo glasses here. Super, super cute, right? They are prescription because I'm like totally blind. And I got these matte ones that I think are really dope. And I felt like they would go good with the fact that I no longer have hair. You know what I'm saying? But either way, you guys can use my link and give me credit. And get you some glasses from Firmoo. Come on in. Sorry, y'all. Y'all know I'm weird. Whatever.
Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue. So let's go ahead. Hey everybody, what's up? It's your girl Bondi Blue. Okay, follow me on Instagram and let's get into the video, right?
Hey y'all, we back. We back in this bitch. Okay, listen. Happy Sunday, you guys. We are here for Iyanla, Fix My Life. And in Iyanla, Fix My Life, we are discussing LisaRaye. Child, LisaRaye is always in the blogs for saying something crazy or, just being problematic. She tends to be a tad bit problematic, but you know what? She's one of, the girls that we all grew up loving and kind of looking up to an extent. And social media and them being able to speak so freely has kind of ruined that for a lot of us. But you know what? It's still a deep down familial love for some of these people. You know what I'm saying? So it's like you don't want them to be out here scratching and surviving good times. You want them to do well. You wish them well. You wish that they would change their mindsets about things. But ultimately, you still fool la around with them. Okay? She has a lot of issues, the homeless advocate. Thank you, Miss Monet, for moderating, girl. I appreciate you. I also appreciate you, Saki Speaks. I'm gonna make you a moderator, girl. I think you're a girl. Saki Speaks just makes me think it's a girl. But anyway, either way, I appreciate you. So y'all, let me pull up my notes. Child, LisaRaye looks I'm tired. This episode was actually really good once I sat down and watched it, okay? I don't know if y'all know, but last night I put this on and I wasn't really paying attention to it. And this morning when I actually sat down to watch it, I feel like there were so many gems that should be, understood and disseminated amongst the crowd. Okay, I thought you were a girl. I was just making sure. So, y'all, the beginning of the episode starts off with Iyanla picking up LisaRaye. And they recap the last time she was on Iyanla. She has issues with her mom. She has issues with her daughter, Kai. And she also was in competition for her father's affections and attention, from, competing with her mother to competing with her father's various girlfriends and women. Okay, we all know that LisaRaye's daddy was a hoe, which is why she and the brat are siblings, because he was all around town spreading his seed. And the woman who he was cheating on LisaRaye's mom with eventually killed him. Okay, just to put that out there. But in LisaRaye's mind, she had normalized a lot of the things that were toxic in her household. Just because things are allowed, people tend to think that they're normal, but that's what happens when you raise children up in things. We tend to think that, oh, this is normal, even though it's toxic and messed up. Because it really is toxic and messed up to raise LisaRaye in competition with her mother. And then on top of that, the knowledge of the other women and just the outright disrespect to which there is no responsibility, there's no regard. He was just allowed to dog the mom out, and she had to be the bad guy because she's the bitter one, which I think is so fucked up. And an extension of men having no responsibility or accountability and women being the ones left carrying the blame for the mistakes they've made, because LisaRaye's mom is the one who stuck, bitter, angry, upset, while the father will forever live in infamy as her favorite person in the whole damn world, even though he was the one that was all of the hurting. You know what I'm saying? So when they get to the house, Iyanla shows LisaRaye a stairwell leading to a throne, and she has to go through these valleys first, okay? And all these valleys are her dealing with certain issues where she needs to be more honest with herself or just understand the truth of the matter in order to get to this next phase of her life. And Iyanla let her know she feels like the universe is calling her to a better life, a bigger existence maybe of some sort, but she needs to understand certain things before she can get there. And I think a lot of people have blinders up and they don't like to see their own issues. They don't like to self-reflect. They don't like to really deal with what their problems are. So they tap out, they disengage, they aren't present. And that's problematic. And LisaRaye is one of those people, which is why she doesn't have a understanding of certain things. Just because she's never had to really care, I feel like, about anybody other than herself and her extensions, meaning your children, your siblings, your parents. Those are all extensions of yourself. Caring about things outside of yourself would mean you would be able to look at something and put yourself in someone else's shoes. You know what I'm saying? And you would also have to be present for that. And a lot of people that don't want to be present just tap out in their minds and act as if they're really there, but people actually feel the disconnect. And I think that's one of LisaRaye's issues, is that she taps out mentally and people can feel that she's not actually, aware or present in the moment. Okay. Iyanla says she tried to throne LisaRaye as a queen, but it did not work the last time. She would refer to her and her mom and Kai as, queens and princesses and all of that to give them a sense of understanding for who they are. If someone is labeling you, above your station, maybe you will arise to the occasion instead of slumming it and doing the least of what you can do, almost like faking it till you make it. I'm going to call you something so that you are reminded the way you are supposed to act. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, LisaRaye's daddy was trash for sure. But one of the things Iyanla says was that she's very rehearsed. And LisaRaye says that what other people find as rehearsal or, her rehearsed responses is her searching for how she feels. And she's processing in her head instead of in her body. So she doesn't really know how she feels. And that's a problem, because that means there's a disconnect from your emotions to where you have to sit back and think about what the issue is and why you feel the way you feel. I don't know. Are they going to do another part? Thank you so much, Jen, for the super chat, because I did not see the preview to next week's episode. But LisaRaye is having issues with Brett. Okay. She's having issues with her mom. She's having issues with her daughter, Kai. And it's time for her to realize that if you're having issues with every single person in your familiar life, the closest people to you, you have issues with all of them. You're in breakdown, bitch. You're the problem. We need you to understand it. Okay. So she talks about the first time her dad broke her heart. And she was going to this really, well-known magnet school. And, it was supposed to make her all special that she was going to this good school. And then all of a sudden, daddy's other woman's daughter shows up at my school. And at first I didn't understand what the big deal was. Like, okay, she's going to your same school. What's the problem? You already knew your daddy had another woman. But then I come to understand that maybe her dad got this girl into this school. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, you're now putting your girlfriend and her child in my face. And it's just kind of like, that's the issue. That's the problem. Why don't you have a problem with the fact that your dad has a girlfriend with a daughter in the first place? You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what Iyanla needed her to understand. And she would keep thinking or keep saying that it was, normal for her. So she didn't understand. It's like, well, it's not normal for most people for their mom to be okay with the girlfriend to the point where we understand it's just a part of our situation. Not when the mom is hurt, not when the mom is in pain, not when the mom sees her daughter as competition because of the situation the man has put her in. But it's funny how, and we'll get to the mom, but it's funny how she sees her mom, but doesn't see her dad as an aggressor in her mom's pain, but sees her mom's pain. You know what I'm saying? She sees it, but it's almost like it's your fault you're in pain. It's not daddy's fault for putting you in that situation in the first place. And to a degree, that is true, because at what point does a woman take responsibility for herself and say, I deserve better, I want better, I don't want to go through this anymore, so I'm going to take myself out of this situation? No, she's the type of woman that feel like, I want this man and I don't want anybody else to have this man, so I'm going to stay with him even though I'm unhappy, just because I don't want anybody else to fully have him. And as long as I'm here and I'm his wife, these bitches have to be the other woman. Because there are so many women, especially, I'm sorry, but hood bitches that feel like the best thing about a relationship is that a man will treat you slightly better than the other woman he's fucking. Oh, well, he don't do nothing special for the bitch. They outline all of these things that makes them feel as if the other woman is less important, when the truth of the matter is, if you were important, maybe he would not have another woman in the first place. Okay, if you were really that fucking important. All right, not to say that you aren't, because there are so many times, well, yeah, we do, people cheat, but the person you're with is still the main person, and you're not going to alter anything, and put that, not really, you don't really want to end that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're putting it in jeopardy, but at the same time, it's not like you don't want to be with the woman, versus when you cheat on somebody and you don't really give a fuck about your partner finding out, because you kind of want them to find out, because then they'll leave you and you don't have to break up with them. And that happens a lot of the time too. And sometimes, especially with women, they won't leave. They'll just stay and accept it when a man is literally abusing the shit out of them, just to try to see if he can get them to leave, so he doesn't have to break up with them. That's why you don't have to make me feel like shit more than once twice really, in order for me to get the fuck on. Yes. Okay. I was just reading some of y'all comments. I now see who the real LisaRaye is. She definitely has a lot of unsolved issues she kept for so many years. She definitely needs a lot of prayer and healing, for sure. I see why her mom is angry. Oh yeah, I see why her mom is angry too. But I also feel like her mom is angry because she hasn't accepted the fact that you are at fault for how your life turned out. A man doesn't treat you the way you deserve to be treated, you leave that man and you treat yourself the way you deserve to be treated and find someone else, or be alone. Figure it the fuck out. But this idea that there is no self-responsibility in your own happiness is just ridiculous to me. So the mom might be, angry for a reason, but she also has herself to blame, because that man has been dead and gone for years, and you still walking around with all this residual anger and heartbreak behind a man that's been dead for, two decades now. You know what I'm saying? But yes, so she lays down on the ground, and Iyanla gets her to speak about like the first time, I think it was like the first time she realized that she wasn't safe, or she felt frightened. And she talks about how the smoke detector went off in her apartment when she was a kid. It was a little smoke fire. Her mom was next door dealing with some other family members or neighbors or something, left something on the stove, and Lisa was locked in the house with smoke that could have potentially killed her or some shit like that. And that's when she realized that she couldn't really count on her mom. and that in some way she was out here in the world by herself. That is so unfortunate, and that's a terrible realization. Also, and I did not know this, LisaRaye's father was in a wheelchair most of her life. When she was 8 months old, he was shot in a robbery and was put in a wheelchair. So it's funny to me that he's going around cheating and being a hoe, even though he's in a wheelchair. I was just like, oh, wow. The big dick energy to be walking around macking and cheating on people in a wheelchair. I'd have rolled that nigga down some stairs so many times. LisaRaye's mama's better than me. But LisaRaye says there was a point in her childhood where she was like, Daddy, I'm going to teach you how to walk. And she tried to push him out of his wheelchair, and he fell. And that's when she had the understanding as a child that he needed to be taken care of in some capacity, which is another reason why I feel like she made excuses for his behavior. Also, because he was the person that gave her what she wanted, always the one coddling her. Of course, she's going to run to his defense because, her dad was the one that gave her everything she wanted. But ultimately, there was also a level of we have to take care of him because he's in a wheelchair. Okay. So when they get to Brat, and she says that the main issue with Brat was that her feelings were hurt. It's like, why were your feelings hurt? And it's because she sees everything as a betrayal. Even things that aren't a betrayal, she sees them as one because her father altered what she feels like is actually normal. Okay, so let me explain. If I teach you that even, the most abnormal of interactions is betrayal, but it's fine, it's okay, it's normalized. When you become older, you're going to start to see all the small things as possible betrayals because when you were growing up, they were. Okay? Your daddy's girlfriend was made a small thing, but it was a huge betrayal. It's something you didn't understand until you became your own woman and realized what it was like to be cheated on and how much that hurt. And now understanding that those were betrayals constantly, that this man who you love so much, and also, he had money. That was another thing. The daddy had money. And he controlled LisaRaye with that. Then when he died and the mom was the one left with the money, the mom tried to control LisaRaye with the money. You know what I'm saying? So therefore, LisaRaye controls her daughter Kai with money. She also picks men that cheat like her father. So there are all these things that are basically cycling and going on over and over again because she hasn't learned from the issue. During the conversation, she blanks out on Iyanla, and Iyanla brings up how she does that in all her relationships. The reason why you have issue with your mom and your daughter, they both say you weren't there for them at one point or another. And she's like, no, I don't believe that. And she was like, well, your daughter Kai said it the last time y'all were here. She said you sent her to boarding school because she wasn't listening to you. And that was a hard time in her life. And she felt like there was no real reason for her being sent away. And I think that LisaRaye is somebody that isn't present. So how do I deal with my daughter not listening to me while my career is on full throttle and I'm on a sitcom? I send her to a bougie ass boarding school, which makes me feel better because she's somewhere where I assume she's being taken care of. But also this is something I would not have been able to afford if I were not away from her working and doing this sitcom job. So it validated her not being around for her daughter the way her daughter wanted her to, which is why when Iyanla brings that up, she gets all snappy. And it's like, well, am I supposed to be everywhere for everybody all the damn time? Oh, no, baby. Ain't nobody asked you to do all that. Bring it back down. But the truth of the matter is you took what you wanted to from that, and then you threw the rest away. You throw away the fact that your daughter did feel like you weren't there because you just sent her somewhere when you couldn't deal with her. But that makes you feel like a bad mom. And because you feel like you made all these sacrifices, and I mean sacrifices because it wasn't really for your daughter, it was for yourself. But I don't think that's a bad thing either. I just think that people need to have systems set in place to help them aid in not being there all the time for their children when they have careers that take them away. They need to have another person there that can create balance for them. And I think a lot of the times when the person is the mother, there's nobody else there to create balance for the child. You know what I'm saying? Which is unfortunate, but I don't feel in any way, shape, or form like LisaRaye should not have followed her dreams because she had a daughter. You know what I'm saying? But there was a better way to deal with not being there. And all she did was just send her daughter away. And it's because LisaRaye is not a present person. I believe that even her being away wasn't even really the big deal. It's the fact that when you are there, you aren't present. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, but she kind of had a little attitude about that. It's like, honey, Iyanla says that she's very clear that LisaRaye is not present in any way, not even for herself. She says that she's tired of doing it for everybody, and Iyanla shows her the stare so that she will understand. You may be tired, but the place that you are trying to go, the Michelle Obamas, the Iyanlas, like the people who people really value in this society and in our system as Black women and all of that, you need to be in a better space mentally. You need to have a certain amount of understanding to be the person that you view yourself as. Think about it. LisaRaye, the queen of Turks and Caicos and all of that shit. You know what I'm saying? Like, she has always seen herself on a pedestal, dressing in all white. The truth of the matter is your inside does not match your outside. You want to put yourself on this pedestal as a queen, and you need to have understanding about yourself, which makes it harder for people to disturb your peace. Damn near impossible. And that's the point that you should be trying to get to. The point where you have so much understanding of who you are as a woman and as a person that nobody can disturb your peace. And I feel like that is such a beautiful place to be in. And I think my mom, as I've watched my mom get older throughout the years, that's one of the things that I've watched her kind of transition and go through, which is becoming a person that starts off as kind of like a people pleaser. You want to make other people happy, but you have to learn. And this is something I'm having to learn for myself, and I have not got there yet, but God willing, I will. When you separate yourself from how other people feel about the decisions you've made to protect yourself. I'm putting up boundaries. It doesn't matter that it makes you uncomfortable or you unhappy, because I'm setting up boundaries for myself. Okay? Because in life, a person like myself, like my mom, even like LisaRaye, you don't want to disappoint people. And even when you disappoint them, sometimes there's an anger in that. Anger with yourself, anger that you disappointed the person, whatever. You don't want to be that. You always want to be able to say you showed up and did what you said you were going to do. You know what I'm saying? But ultimately, I'm sorry, y'all comments were distracting me a little bit up there. Let me put these notes up here. Okay. Let me stretch my notes so I can't, see what y'all talking about, because some of y'all are talking about stuff that ain't got nothing to do with what we talking about from what I understand. Just saying. Okay. But yes, it's an uphill climb, and it's work that she needs to do, and it's work that she's been avoiding for much of her life, because LisaRaye it's been allowed to avoid things. So the next day when LisaRaye comes back, she says that she does want to understand what her issues are. She does want to get to a point when she is this woman that Iyanla speaks of. And Iyanla says the universe is calling her to do things differently, and she just needs to understand that sometimes when it's not so easy, it's worth the outcome, And then she asked her what she always asks people when she does these shows with them, especially women. She will always ask a woman, what did your mother teach you about your womanhood? And the way a woman teaches her child about womanhood is how she treats herself. LisaRaye's mom showed her how to devalue herself, basically, because she allowed a man to basically, when you look at LisaRaye's mom, do y'all really think having money and comfort means everything when you a bitter old woman that's unhappy? I'm just saying, having comfort and money means absolutely nothing if I'm not happy. If I'm not a person that is of light, if I'm a person of negativity, if I'm somebody that people don't want to deal with, if I'm somebody that underlying has some real dark shit about themselves that they have not dealt with, all of the money and leisure in the world does nothing for that type of energy. You are still that negative person, and having all of those things does not make you happy. And LisaRaye's mom is the perfect example of that. You had all of this comfort because of that man, but in truth, you weren't comfortable at all. You taught your child how to be devalued as a woman, how to be looked at as somebody who can only be valued in a monetary form. Because that's the reason why you stayed, right? That's the reason why LisaRaye's mom stayed in that relationship with that man who cheated on her and disrespected her constantly, was because not only did she not want somebody else to fully have him, but it was also about the money and what he could provide her. Now, as an older woman, all you have is the remnants of pain, anguish, and the things you basically put yourself through by refusing to leave that relationship because you thought the only thing that mattered was money and comfortability, when really your happiness, your psyche, how you feel about yourself is always what matters above anything else. Anything else. When you value yourself above anything else, you're not going to let a man dog you out and treat you like shit in front of your daughter, create competition between you and your child over some dick. No, you're not going to do that. You know what I'm saying? So I really clicked in with this episode around this time, specifically when they talked about detaching from people's responses from your boundaries, because I have a hard time with that. It's like, oh, I wonder how they're going to react, or I'm nervous about how they're going to react. And I'm the type of person that I'll think something all the way through. Okay, so what's the worst case scenario? They blow things up, they act this way. Ultimately, that still is not the worst thing that's ever happened to me, and I'll be fine. But I'll still have that anxiety. I'll still have the fear of how people will respond to me setting boundaries, even if I know, they'll be all right. You know what I'm saying? Even if I know that, even if I know everything is going to be fine, I'll still have that nervous energy around that. And that's because you really have to get to a place where you've done a lot of work and really push through that feeling in order to detach yourself from the way people respond to your boundaries. And one of those boundaries was LisaRaye getting people up out of her house. Her mom has been packing, but she's still living there. And she keeps saying she wants to give Kai a timeline to get out of her house, but she never really does. She also allows for Kai to get away with things. Like, I want you to do this, Kai. Kai says, I'm going to do it. And then when it comes time to do it, Kai doesn't do it and says she forgot. And LisaRaye knows that it's bullshit and that Kai is just saying that, but really, she didn't want to do it. LisaRaye controlling her daughter the way she has her entire life. And honestly, I was watching Waka and Tammy last night. That's how I felt a little bit about Tammy and her daughter. I'm not telling nobody how to raise their kids because I don't have any. I know people love to throw that in your face, but I was a kid. I was a teenager, and I remember being 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. And there's a certain age when you need to back the fuck up. As a parent, there's a certain age where you back the fuck up and let the cookies crumble the way they will. You cannot stop your 15, 16, 17-year-old kids from fucking. I know y'all think y'all can, but nobody stopped y'all from fucking. So I don't know why you think you can stop your kids from fucking, Tammy. Like, y'all just kissing. Oh, I don't want her rubbing your feet. Get over it. It's gonna happen. Separate yourself. It's no longer something you need to worry about until it's something you need to worry about. Make sure you've told her everything she needs to know and give her all the information and let it be what it is. Separate yourself from that because it's not something you can really control anymore. Like LisaRaye saying, oh, I want her out at a certain date, but before she leaves, I want her to clean. Iyanla said, no, except the fact that she may never be the housemate you would like, and just give her the date and tell her to get the hell out. That's it. You have until this date to leave. That's it. That's all. No other, restrictions and parameters, because that's how you fuck yourself up, trying to put all of these parameters on grown people. Bitch, it's time to go. Here's the date. I need you out by this date. And LisaRaye last time said she was going to give her daughter a hard date and then didn't do it. Okay, all of that shit went out the window when she was in front of Kai. Okay, so LisaRaye has a lot of patterns that she repeats: cheating men, being spoiled and spoiling. Okay, her mom controlled her. She controls her daughter. So she understands that she needs to choose when she is ready to sit on her queenly throne and basically deal with her issues. Deal with who you are. Be real with yourself for real, because you sat here and gave yourself a 4, which is the highest number for honesty, and that was bullshit. It was bullshit because you couldn't even be honest with yourself. You couldn't even be honest with yourself about what your daughter really was doing when she tells you that I forgot. She didn't forget. She don't give a fuck. And you've allowed that to happen because you want to control her and you like feeling like you can control her. If she's on her own, you can't control her anymore. And that's your own issue that you need to deal with. You know what I'm saying? But because I remember LisaRaye saying she doesn't want to be like her mom. If you don't want to be like your mom, you need to relinquish control, Lisa. Please do it. Relinquish control, bitch. Okay? Learn the lessons and live in your heart so no one can alter your throne. That's what Iyanla said. Thank you, Summer, for the super chat. Your words are hitting home for me today about life in general. Thank you. Say that, Ish. Thank you. I'm glad, y'all, because sometimes I wonder if, I'm being understood clearly. But that's why I thought it was a good episode, because I felt like there was something to be learned from it. And that is, there is nothing wrong with growing up, changing, setting boundaries, and letting people know what it is and stepping away from their reaction to how you have decided to be. You know what I'm saying? Because ultimately, your own peace of mind and happiness is the only thing that is important. And you cannot find that externally. You have to find that within yourself. You know what I'm saying? So sorry, y'all. I don't know why it knocked me out like that. It be knocking you out sometimes. You're just scrolling and you get knocked out. I'm just reading y'all comments. But yeah, I enjoyed the episode because I felt like there was definitely something to be learned about the different stages we go through in life as well. And I like that, the steps and understanding that you're not going to be the same person, throughout all of the stages of your life. And you have to give yourself time and patience to grow, to change, instead of feeling like something is wrong because the energy is different. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, y'all. LisaRaye seems ready to rebuild her relationships. I hope so. And I really hope that the reason she's upset with Brad is not because Brad came out. I think it's because Brad decided to make that relationship a serious one. And if you really valued me in your life, you would have told me about it. You know what I'm saying? I understand that feeling, but I also feel like the fact that LisaRaye is so upset about it shows her overall ego and arrogance. It's not your life. Yes, she didn't tell you. Talk to her about why. Stop getting angry and try to understand why. And also stop playing the victim, because I think one of the lessons we learn is that our anger is sometimes hurt. But because we're taught that, crying or, being hurt is a sign of weakness, we go straight to anger. So once we learn that lesson, we start applying my feelings are hurt, okay, to moments when somebody has done something we don't like. But what you can do is stay in that moment so long that it becomes basically like bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not really that your feelings are hurt. It's that you're upset that you're not getting your way. So instead of just saying I'm angry because I'm not getting my way, you're going to say my feelings are hurt. And then that makes it that you're the victim, and you're not the victim. You're upset about something that is out of your control. And you need to get over that, because there is no point in being upset about things that are not in your control. And that's just on God. Thank you, Asia. Hey, love, for the super chat. Thank you. I wonder if Iyanla called Evelyn on her colorism, since she said she calls people out when they act up. I wonder. She said that at the end of the episode that if LisaRaye was online acting a fool, she would call her and call her out. I wonder. I would like to hope so, to be honest. Oh, wow. I just finished watching on my DVR. Happy to catch this live review. Oh, I'm glad you caught it too. Thank you, Trudy, for the super sticker. I appreciate you. Jacqueline says her anger towards the brat was another example of her wanting to control. She wanted her sister to share info with her the way she wanted it to happen. Exactly. And that's why I tell y'all all the time, there's no point in getting upset with people about the shit they decide to do. That's in every facet of life. When you see people, that hate black people for being, that hate gay people for being, that hate men for wearing dresses, hate women for being masculine, like they always mad at somebody for being them. And I always say that is a waste of your time and energy, because you cannot control anybody but yourself. And if you find yourself being upset about things that are out of your control and have nothing to do with you, that means you need to reassess your emotions and understand what you're exactly upset about and break that down. break it down, what you're upset about, what the problem is, break it down until you realize there is nothing to be upset about, okay? Or what the real issue that you're upset about is, and then deal with that. But the idea that you should be mad and upset because of the way other people choose to live their lives or disseminate information or anything else is a telltale sign that you have not grown as an adult, because you still think you can control other people and you cannot. And that's just true tea. Thank you so much for the super sticker, Veronica. I appreciate you. Can you explain live in your heart? I think when she says live in your heart, Iyanla is saying to be honest to what your emotions are, because so many people separate themselves from their feelings. They separate themselves from their emotions, from what they're feeling in the moment, and they go straight to what they should be thinking versus what it feels like for them. So living in your heart means being aware of your feelings and not having to search yourself for them all the time, because you're already in contact with your feelings. You're living in the moment. You're being present. You're here. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, I can feel really good about the fact that there are 769 people in my live right now and that I'm coming off clearly. And I can feel good about that in this moment because I am present and I am here. Okay. And if something else happened, then, you know, I'm present in that moment. So I don't have to search for what my emotions are in the moment because I'm already tapped into them. I don't create that much of a separation between my mental and my emotional, because to me, they sometimes walk hand in hand unless it has something to do with, you know, women or men, you know, people I'm fucking with, you know, and then all of a sudden, you know, things get a little bit more blurry. Oh, okay. I'm gonna see if we can even do that, because that might be something that's already trademarked. But thank you so much for the super chat. I'm gonna hit Jay Lee up about that, because Jay Lee is the one that is smart and is usually on that type of thing. Thank you so much, Crafty Mom, for the super chat. But yes, I think and there's a way to live in your emotions, to live in your heart without having your feelings on your sleeve, without allowing people to change your emotions. You know what I'm saying? Like if I know I'm in a good mood, even if your energy tries to shift my energy, if I say no, your energy is not affecting my energy. So I detach from whatever you're going through and then sit in what I'm in, what I feel. You know what I'm saying? And you have to make that conscious effort to say, this is what I feel right now. So I'm not going to let whatever you're going through alter how I feel right now. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes you got to remove people from your space. Sometimes you have to do things in order to make sure that their energy isn't allowed to rub off on you, because I think transference of energy is a real thing. I don't care what anybody says, which is why you can't let everybody unload their issues on you, which is why you can't let everybody come and tell you their woes, because sometimes they're transferring their negative ass energy to you. And then all of a sudden you just sat there listening to them complain, and now you feel bad after, which is why a lot of the times I protect my energy. Not just my snatch. I protect my energy. You have to, because ultimately you are the only person that is living in your body, in your heart, in your mind, in your feelings. And you have to make sure that you're good at all times before you can worry about whatever anybody else is going through. Iyanla went soft on her. I think that she did, because LisaRaye is the personality that you can't go hard on, because then she's going to do what she did, which is retreat within herself. And because she's an actress and someone who is used to having to respond on camera and be, you know, and look like she's present in a moment when she's not, I think that Iyanla knew how she would handle her if she went too hard, which was to pretend that everything was good when it wasn't. And Iyanla referenced all of these things as well with her, letting her know, I know the things that you do. I know the shit that you do. I've seen you for your works. You like to pretend like everything is okay. You like to act like everything is cool. You like to act like you got it all under control, when the truth of the matter is you don't. You're tapped out. You're not paying attention because you don't want to deal with what I'm telling you, because it's too real for who you are right now. Child, don't cut off living in your heart. Live in your heart. Okay, live in your heart, but protect yourself, protect your energy as well. But yeah, y'all, I thought it was a good episode just because I felt like there were so many gems to learn as a person and as a woman. For myself, the aha moment for me this episode was when she, because at first I was like the step thing, I didn't get it all the way at first. But by the time we get to the end of the episode, I'm thinking about my own mother and the things that she's taught me and watching her, you know, in her life in the different stages I've watched her go through. And there have been times where she's been changing or altering herself. And it's like a moment of contention. Like I remember one point when she used to have anxiety attacks where she would have to put her hands on the air conditioner to calm her heart rate down. Like, her and my sister would get into it and she gets so upset she had to put Olo on the side of the road to calm herself down because she's hyperventilating and shit. So I can remember my mom going through that time period, and then after that it was like the younger, more about it version of herself was gone. After that, it was like she had come to a place where my fight is different. I'm not fighting about everything. I'm not arguing with nobody about everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is, so to speak. Her energy and the way she handled problems shifted. And I actually witnessed my mom's energy shift and her being different in her 30s when I was younger and in her 40s versus how she is now in her 60s. So being able to see that for myself and watch her as a woman all throughout my life, I feel like I understood how you have to understand things about yourself. My mom has always been in self-help. I told y'all the reason why I love Iyanla so much is because my mom introduced me to Iyanla when I was a teenager, bought me a book. Mom has always been into self-help and being better and having a better understanding of her mental and her emotional so that she's good. And my mom has, creates her own place of peace and all of that. You know what I'm saying? So when I see that, you know what I'm saying? That's the lesson for me. And I tapped into that for LisaRaye. I was like, and see, that's the thing. This is something that LisaRaye is going through right now, but my mom already went through it, but in a different way, because for one, my mom is not, a famous person. And also my mom is emotionally tapped in. People poured into her positively in a way that people didn't pour into Lisa. And that's how you can tell colorism is a funny thing. Because LisaRaye, may feel like she's been afforded things or she gets a certain, level up in life because she's lighter complected. My mom is much darker. And when she was, younger, she was even darker. You know what I'm saying? Because she was outside more often. So I'm just saying my mom at that age versus LisaRaye at that age, my mom had better understanding and an easier life, in a much better life as far as I'm concerned. At her age, just because she was more open to understanding who she was as a person early on. Okay. So I learned that you're going to go through these things as a woman, as you're getting older. You're going to go through these times of transition, and it's not always a happy or comfortable moment, but it's something you need to go through. So for me, having a moment like that myself right now, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know I'm in therapy and everything, bitch, because, the pandemic and, this transition, these past 3 years since I, 4 years since almost, 18, 19, 21. Yeah, 3 years since I quit my job, at the news station and being at home more often and being married and all of that type of shit. Like all of these, into my 30s now, all of these transitions happen throughout life and they're not always easy. But it's what you have to go through to get to the next stage. And I feel like even though we understand that, we don't really see it in the way that a person actually goes through it. You know what I'm saying? So seeing this episode really tapped into that for me, which is understanding that even when shit isn't always good or copacetic, it is just the period in which you are growing to the next step and finding peace in that and understanding and forgiving of yourself for not being exactly who you hoped you'd be in that moment. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I was here for this episode. I really was when I really sat down and watched it. Thank you, Bondi. I feel some people should watch these episodes for personal growth versus deflection and criticism. It's real gems being dropped and missed because folks busy critiquing the talent. Yes. And that's another thing and I think that's one of the reasons why my reviews of Iyanla have always done well for me, is because I don't watch it to critique what she's doing. I watch to learn from it and to listen and think about it in terms of my life or people that I know, so that I can understand it on an interpersonal level. Because people sometimes like to keep things outside of themselves instead of using it as a way to reflect. And my whole life, I feel like a lot of the things I've seen, family members, friends, things like, movies, television, like everything I take in, I will in some way use it to reflect upon myself. You know what I'm saying? So, not saying I have it all figured out or anything, because I really don't, but I'm always open to look at myself in the same way that I look at other people. You know what I mean? I'm going through this now because of my father's passing in December. Oh, Summer, you have my condolences. I'm sorry, love. And I know how that is. It's definitely a transition. I went through one after my father died as well, with just, even when my relationship with my mom changed because my father passed away, the whole dynamic, it was a lot. So I get that. Yes, I actually have 2 counselors, one for myself and one to help with my blended family. That's what's up. Yeah, you got to get people on the outside looking in to give you perspective. We don't know everything. We don't. So true. I'm in a transition right now, and it's uncomfortable but exciting. I'm getting ready to graduate from grad school and start my career. Yes, congratulations, love. Hey, J Ray, thank you for the super chat, love, and thank you for showing up the way you always do. Loving these weekend lives. Glad Iyanla is back on. Still sad it's the last season. They need Martell Ho on there, but he might be beyond fixing. Beloved, I don't think she can fix it. Beloved, I don't think that she can fix it. Okay. But yeah, y'all, that's all I got to say. I hope y'all enjoyed the live. I'm about to go and work out, and hopefully me and my husband will go, eat some bad food later on. All right. What I really mean by that is some crawfish and a po' boy, because that's what I want. Anyway, I love y'all. I enjoyed this live today. I enjoy seeing what you guys are saying. I'm going to keep doing Iyanla live because I really would like to see what you guys are saying. And, if you guys have gone through things similar to this and, your own understanding of the episode, and being able to ask me things in a way that I can explain it if it's something you don't understand and I do. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all know I be glued into Iyanla. All right. But y'all have a really good day. I love y'all so much. And I will see y'all tomorrow for the lives. Okay. Come on now. Y'all know I'll be back up this bitch tomorrow for the lives. All right, y'all. Let me go see, because I know Jay Lee is scheduled to do something today. Let me go. I see y'all.